Write your question down because I'm not going to get through this in a timely fashion because all of a sudden we're going to go, we got this direction, that direction, and you're going to lose the entire context of what I'm trying to say. So let's just hold questions. Please write them down as they come up, and then we'll go to Q&A afterwards. I don't want to lose the context of what's going on. January, pulled it out of the non-principal. New business, October 1, whatever zone you're in and where you are in reference to base flood elevation. Now let's talk about that assignment rule. If I buy your house today and you want to assign me your flood policy today, you can. Okay? Starting October 1, you can. So if I buy your house and I lock in at a $482 rate on your house, right now I'm okay. However, this law says that if since the law was passed and prior to October 1, so it's between July 6th and September 30th, if I took that policy over by assignment, on my very next renewal, I will go to full flood rates just like new business.
Whoa, wait, say that again?
So what it's saying is I assume this policy at $482, and actually when my next renewal comes in, it might be $1,462. Let's go back through this, okay? The law says you cannot, it's not going to allow for assignment. The law went into effect July 6th. It's not being implemented to October 1. So since it wasn't implemented in July 6th to September 30th, they're allowing you to just still do assignments. But you get that assignment until your next renewal after October 1, and then at that point it would have been as if you wrote it new business. Is everybody with me now?
So if it renews in November, it goes to
okay. So you're absolutely right. It's a big disclosure. I'm a first-time home buyer, and I picked this up at $482, and my margins are like this. Okay? And then all of a sudden, you know, my premium is now $3,000 or $4,000 higher than what it was and what I assumed from you. That's a huge issue for me when that new premium comes up. Because what the companies are going to do is the companies are going to identify what policies were assigned since July 6th through September 30th. Then they're going to flag that and say, at renewal, Mr. Agent, okay, we need an elevation certificate because we now need to rate it in the zone it's in based on where it is in reference to base flood. And that will be what it'll be going forward. Okay?
But before July 6th.
Say it again?
Before July 6th.
Before July 6th, you got the assignment, you're still a renewal.
Oh, okay. So
if you did the assignment prior to July 6, 2012, okay?
Oh, 2012.
That's when the law went into effect now.
Oh, so we're talking last year, not this year.
7/6/12 to September 30th. That's from when the law was passed until it's implemented. So if you did it before July 6, you're okay because you just regular renewal. The law wasn't changed. You're operating under the old law there.
This is not just pre-farm structures.
This is all structures that have been assigned. Okay? Now, the other kicker to it, and this is for everybody in the room that currently has flood insurance. If you let your policy lapse, you come in as new business. So he's paying $482 and he let his policy lapse on no fault of his own because the mortgage company did not pay it. If the mortgage company was late in paying, the government says, we don't care. You were notified that you had an expiration notice. You have a duty to see that your premium gets paid. And as a result, since you're doing, go see your insurance agents. And they will now write your policy, but they're going to write it as new business. So that's for everybody in the room, including myself. I'm not going to let my policy lapse right now. Okay? So, October changes new business. Everybody with me now? Going to full flood risk. What zone? Where's my house in reference to base flood elevation? If that's applicable. Because you have your B, C, and X where elevation doesn't matter. Okay? If it's, can't assign it, so it goes new business. Also, if you did do an assignment, then during that window of 7/6 to September 30th, at their next renewal, they will go to a new business rate. That's the easiest way for me to say this. And the other piece is, if I let mine lapse, no matter whether it's mortgagee paid or not, I'm out. Understand, it's a 30-day grace period on this program. After 30 days, it lapses. Okay? Even though we used to be able to take a payment after 60 and then after 90, but we would tack a waiting period on it. Well, I'm not exactly sure how those rules will work out. But technically it's a lapse, and the way I look at a lapse is after the 30th day, actually technically the 29th day from the app, okay? I mean from the date of the renewal, because that's one day, okay? So understand that. If you're late in making a payment, call the company, go online, pay it by credit card, do something the way you're getting direct, and you control it, okay? Call the, if you call the company, they can take the payment on a credit card over the phone, or you can go online, you make sure you get a confirmed receipt, okay? A lot of companies are doing that,
So you're saying
or
pay
call
5
your
years in
agent and do it,
advance.
but make sure your agent gives you all the documentation.
So you're
Yes.
saying pay it 5 years in advance so we know that it's paid for.
No. Pay one year at a time. Because they want to raise your rate next year. Okay? That's the gist of what's happening October 1. Okay? And I'm covering that because that's going to immediately impact us. It's impacting us now. Okay? Because I'll tell you in the presentation that I gave, because of the maps, I gave it to a group of realtor managers who are from all over the Gulf South here, okay? And they told me as a result of the maps that have been being pushed out in Orleans, Jefferson, Plaquemines, and that, they already had 5 contracts rescinded.
5 what?
5 contracts rescinded.
Yeah.
With less than 1.5 weeks of that stuff being out there. And some of it was still being rolled out. But that's just one realtor group, okay? And that's in less than a little bit over a week that they had that many contracts that were rescinded, okay? Because you're sitting here putting a good faith estimate out. If you're using his rate, using a good faith estimate, you may be way off, okay? You got to be careful with what you're putting in that good faith estimate. Is it based on new business? And